Sometimes I get real awkward, like that we've been doing this for so long,
Yeah.
but it turns on and it immediately turns on my awkwardness. Welcome to Caffeinate and Advocate, the show where we sip coffee and talk all things mental health. I'm your host, Jess, and today I am in Scranton, Pennsylvania, home of the show The Office, which I watched all night last night in my hotel. And we are at Northern Light, which is a coffee shop in Scranton. I'm joined by a colleague of mine, Tom McHugh. Tom, what do you do here at Peerstar?
I'm the regional director up here in the northeast part of the state. I'm in 5 counties, and we have people in Lackawanna, Luzerne, Wyoming, Susquehanna, Wayne counties, and we have a staff of about 18, 19 certified peer specialists up here, and we do the best we can with our CPS and CRS programming.
Awesome. I'm glad you can remember that because I can never remember what counties are in each region. But Tom is being thrown into this. Tom had no idea until yesterday that I was going to ask him to do Caffeinate and Advocate. So Tom, when I asked you what you like to advocate or what we could talk about today, what was your thoughts? What were your thoughts?
It was pretty easy. It was pretty easy. Our day-to-day stuff happens, and you know that, and you've done a lot of these programs with the day-to-day stuff. We're involved with Lackawanna County Jail, the prison up here. We have a prep program that you're familiar with. It's
I wrote it.
preparation program. So you're pretty familiar.
I'm familiar with it. I wrote it.
So we've been doing that program with Lackawanna County Prison. I also am involved in the community with what's called the Lackawanna County Reentry Task Force, which is a perfect lead-in from our prep program to the Lackawanna County Reentry program. So I figured that topic will jump right to the top, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And I think it's a absolutely excellent program. It's a nice collaboration between Peerstar and other community resources, and I feel real comfortable working on that one.
What's really neat is, well, I guess I'm not sure if it's neat, but in our field, we are so used to talking about reentry. But I know there are people in other fields that have no idea what that is. So do you mind telling us what do you mean by reentry, and what is a reentry task force?
Absolutely. So the Lackawanna County Reentry Task Force, it's a group of community resources that help people that have been incarcerated and help them with the prep program that we do while they're incarcerated, while they're in jail, help them prepare for when they're released and come back in the community. Obviously, the objective is reducing the recidivism rate, making a successful reentry into the program, into the community. Hopefully, that's their last time they're going to be in jail. And we identify impediments that would keep somebody from being successful in their reentry, and we try to identify the impediments and try to hook up some resources to help the returning citizens overcome some of those impediments.
What have you noticed have been the biggest barriers that somebody preparing to re-enter into the community, or someone who has just re-entered into the community, what seems to be the things that they are looking for the most support in?
I found in our area, and I don't think we're unique in this situation, in our area, housing is the number one situation that causes a lot of stress on people re-entering. I always talk about safe, affordable housing, and people say, safe, affordable housing. A lot of places have safe housing that's not affordable. A lot of people have affordable housing that's not quite safe. So people that have coming out of prison, high risk of drug and alcohol abuse, those people know that people, places, and things is what you need to stay away from if you want to stay clean and sober.
And that's hard because a lot of us would rather have people, places, and things around us that aren't good for us than to not have them at all.
And not only that, but a lot of times the affordable housing is not safe from those people, places, and things. I've had people that have relapsed, and they've gone into treatment, and when they came back, they'd go back to the same environment that they came from before, and I would sit there saying, it's not going to work. And you kind of can't tell people that. They have to unfortunately find out for themselves. So that people, places, and things is very important. So not only is housing the number one need or issue or concern, but safe, affordable housing. And that's really difficult to come by. I know in Lackawanna County and our surrounding areas, and I'm sure around the state, they run into similar situations.
Do you find that stigma is still a big concern for a lot of people working through that reentry
Yes.
process?
Yeah. Unfortunately, you could be working with lots of people, a lot of reentrants. You could be working with them, and when they sit down, when a push comes to shove, they'll say, so tell us a little bit about yourself. And once they mention that incarceration part, there's a big change. We have lists of felon-friendly employers, and the list is long as my arm. When they actually, when the rubber hits the road and they're applying for those positions, that list really gets a lot smaller. It looks good for companies to say we're felon friendly,
but are they actually?
But when I'm bringing somebody there who has a background or history, and we are having them apply for a position, you can tell that there's a real good chance that they're not going to get that position.
And I think that is something that's so important for us to advocate for, because we are working in a field where I am proud to say that stigma is low, because we have so many of our colleagues, our coworkers, our champions in mental health have an experience of being incarcerated. And like you said, like, you don't know it unless someone talks about it. You build relationships, someone talks about it, you've met them as the person they are today, and so that stigma is decreased. So I think it's important that we don't forget that there are still stigmas attached, because we have to continue to advocate for it, even though we feel like it's decreasing. It's decreasing in our little world, but not maybe in the world around us.
Going back to the prep program, working with people, preparing them to come out of prison, we can't send a staff person in there who doesn't have that lived experience themselves.
Right.
That's the peer part of the CPS, the Certified Peer Specialist. That's the peer part. I did a program one time, and there's a recovery bank here in Lackawanna County in Scranton, and I was doing a program, and we had about 15, 20 participants, people that are recently released. And I was up there talking about all the good things that they could do, different resources that are available for them. And I had a guy in the back of the room raise his hand, and he looked up at me and he goes to me, he goes, "Were you ever in jail?" And I said, "No." So my credibility went way down with that group.
Right.
So you can talk all you want, and I've been involved with this for years, and I kind of have a little bit of an idea what people go through, but that didn't make any difference. If you weren't there, you don't know.
And that's such a good point, because the PrEP program, that was co-developed with individuals with lived experience. So, although I helped create it, we also had a work group of individuals who had been incarcerated to say, yeah, this is what the research says, but actually with lived experience, I can say that yes, this is a concern.
Which you have to do. We talked a little bit earlier about the peer-to-peer program.
Yeah.
We have a program through the Reentry Task Force. We meet twice a month, and we go to those meetings, but we sit there as resources. The actual people that are running the program are peers. And they're sitting there and they're giving out advice or suggestions or experiences to other people that are reentering, that they're going to be listening to them a lot more than they're going to be listening to some guy sitting over in the corner. Yeah, I think that's the peer part is as important as the peer support is generally when it comes to previously incarcerated. It's absolutely important.
Well, Tom, I think this is something we could probably talk about for hours upon hours, and it's something that's needed. So it will be time for us to go, but before we do, this is how I know if anyone's ever watched our Caffeinate and Advocate. It's time for coffee can questions. I didn't sing it that time. I kind of did, but not really. So Tom, this is the time where we pull out a random question. It could be mental health related. It could just be a general question. So if you want to pick one and read it, we'll both have a chance to answer it, and then we'll go about our day.
Okay. I'm going to need these to read this.
No problem. I'm almost there.
Okay,
I
so
need to do one of these.
So today's question, what celebrity or fictional character do you feel could be your best friend?
Oh, that's such a good general one. Okay, so what celebrity or fictional character do you think could be your best friend? Do you have any ideas?
Do I have to go first? Because
Okay, I'll think of it.
Okay.
This is a tough one. So
that's a great one.
I feel like I do love the show Friends.
Oh.
I feel like anyone on the show Friends could be one of my best friends, but I probably, I'm just gonna go with all of them. Honestly, I know that sounds cliche because it's a show Friends, but that's from my era, and
I should have went first. Because Joey Tribbiani.
Oh, who doesn't want to be friends with Joey Tribbiani?
Joey Tribbiani is great.
Yeah.
I would love hanging around in New York City with Joey Tribbiani. That'd be great.
And I love that. One of the things I'll share about that show that's kind of related is I always use that show to describe like all the quirks that those friends had and how the friends appreciated it. Like, you know, they all had their own quirks, but they all appreciated their quirks and they still were able to remain friends.
If I ever wanted to get any of my daughters to roll their eyes, all I have to do is pull a Joey Triviani, like, how you doing, that type of thing. Yeah, they roll their eyes and they go, no, Dad, that's not working. So it works for Joey, but maybe if I hung around with them.
Yeah, not as a dad joke though. Well, Tom, thank you. Thank you for, first off, so short notice joining us and bringing, you can tell you're definitely passionate about helping this population. So until next time, we hope you'll, I don't know, until next time. I have no idea what I want to say about that. So till next time, Tom, obligatory cheer.
Cheers.
Cheers.